Hey anyone, I'm Hawk, and today I want to talk about money. Hobbies can be pretty damn expensive. I have a lot of them, so I know this too well. The amount of time I could spend on a hobby directly correlates with the amount of money I have to spend on it, so sometimes stuff has to kind of go on the back burner. But one hobby I always try to stick with is gaming. I love gaming, and if you've seen any of the videos on this channel before, you've probably gathered that. But gaming to me is an escape, and a way to see some amazing things and discover great stories, or even to test my mind. There's a lot of reasons why any of us play video games. But the only problem is that the gaming industry is kind of in a weird place at the moment. The quality of AAA games seems to keep dropping, while the prices just seem to keep skyrocketing, and it can be really hard to keep up. Especially when the money we make today stays the same, while the value of each dollar continues to just plummet. Every AAA game is a gamble now, too, and I don't know about you, but I'm not much of a gambler myself, especially with products that are as absurdly expensive as they are now. Things are bleak, but there is hope. While the AAA side of the industry is like a minefield of regret and misery, on the other side of things, we're seeing a straight-up renaissance with indie games. Now, I've said this before, I've gone more into depth with this before, there are some incredible games out there, you just have to look for them. But indie games and AA games, if you will, today are delivering in ways that I personally never thought possible. And because of how easy it is now to put a game on Steam or get a game out there in general, the amount of new games to choose from is staggering, to say the least. The standard price of a single AAA game today is $70. But if you want an early release date, and all of the content that they cut from the game to then resell to you later, you have to fork up about $120, give or take. You could easily spend that same amount and walk away with anywhere from 5 or more games that'll be better in almost every way than the single AAA game you're about to be disappointed by. For $70, you could get A Merchant's Promise, a new indie game that's a medieval salesman trading and transport simulator with physics-based shenanigans for $10. Do No Harm, a cool and trippy doctor game where you fight madness and other insanity while trying to heal people. That's $16. Drova, it's an RPG in the same vein as the old Gothic games, but it's pixelated and has a lot of cool shit going on. That's $25. Technomancer, an older sci-fi RPG that takes place on Mars, made by the people who later made Greedfall and Steel Rising. They're called Spiders. That's $10. And the TCG Card Shop Simulator, the trading card shop simulator, for $12. The TCG game, if you haven't heard of it, is a really cool card shop simulator that even has the addicting practice of opening up booster packs to try and complete your collection. You could do that for days if you really want. That's around $70, give or take, without sales. Those games together. Most games go on sale often on Steam anyway, and you can usually find sales or used copies of hard games for consoles or wherever, whatever, in certain places like garage sales, or you just have to look around. Look on Craigslist even, just be careful. But you just have to keep an eye out. And that's 5 games for the price of 1, really. You could probably do 6, 7, hell, even 10 games for the price of one AAA slopfest. And I promise you, each of those games you buy will deliver so much more than the AAA alternative ever could. You could also buy old games. Games you've never played before but always wanted to. Or maybe you find an old game that you never heard of, but because it's older, it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper. Why let the fact that they aren't new stop you? New does not always mean better, but old also doesn't always mean great. Take a chance and see what you missed. I mean, hell, if they're old enough, you probably have dissertations people are making now in retrospectives that are like 5 hours long that you can look through and get more information about, so you're informed before you make the purchase. But they're almost always cheap as hell. Some of the best games I've ever played were hidden gems. games you've never heard of, and games you have to just kind of stumble upon on your own. Now, the other option is free-to-play games. I can't speak too much on this because I don't often play free-to-play games, but the reason for that is they often find nefarious and disgusting ways to suck money out of you, and most people can't control themselves with that, understandably. But I don't even want to take the chance, personally. The other thing is, if you don't pay for it, you are the product. That's never good. But free-to-play games have really been on the rise lately, like Fortnite and Genshin Impact and Apex Legends. They're viable options if you want to save money and still play decent video games. You could go with free-to-play, but just play at your own discretion and be careful. They can definitely suck you in. These things are designed to make you want to spend money, so they can be kind of dangerous. But the bottom line is, why spend close to, if not over, $100 on a single game that you know somewhere deep down will suck ass and disappoint you, when you could spend that same amount or less on a shitload of games that have way higher likelihoods of actually entertaining you and making you happy? The world isn't getting better anytime soon. We aren't getting more money, groceries aren't going to get cheaper, healthcare is only going to cost more, and you're lucky if you even get to stay in a nice apartment, let alone buy a home. We have no fucking money, so make sure the tiny amount that you do get to spend is done so wisely. Stop feeding the AAA machine of shit. Buy from devs who actually care about what they make, and still do it for the love of the game. The only way we could stop this train wreck is to send a message. The only language companies understand is money. So stop buying actual trash from companies who gave up long ago. This message and method applies to a lot more than you may think. Thank you for listening. Stay safe.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.